Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we celebrate world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I am thrilled to have you here today for our show called Planet Earth. And today we're going to be talking about water, the vital importance of water in our lives and for our planet. Joining me is our expert and a dear friend, Mr. Roland.friedl, who is literally rolling through Europe in his motorhome. Let's welcome him to the program. Hello.
Hello, Jacalyn. Great to see you again. Hello to our audience. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us. Hello.
Hello, hello. So, Roland, there's an old expression, water everywhere and not a drop to be found, something like that. And I think this is an interesting topic that you selected today. But before we get into it, I'd love to have you give a little bit of background to our audience about the work that you do on and off this platform.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm so happy to be back after almost 2 weeks break because, as Dr. Jacalyn said, I'm living and working in my motorhome, traveling around Europe. And the last week I couldn't join because I have absolutely no network. So there's a few spots in Europe, especially in what is interesting in nations like Germany and Austria, where you really are challenged with some networks. But anyway, I'm very happy to be back. So my background is after university and joining corporate world and having a very fast career. I was in sales. I was a manager, director. I was the youngest, member of board of directors in a company in Austria. I left the corporate world. I started a different business in different areas, in different industry. Some very successful, 2 failed, which was actually not a failure. It was a huge learning process for me, what helps me now to support my clients, meaning that since more than 2.5 decades, I consult, coach, train international companies all over the globe with my team in 9 different languages. That's my main income source, if you want to do my profession. And besides that, I do a lot of men's work since 4 years almost. And I have a foundation called Respect Mother Earth. So I strongly believe that it's very, very important to do something for the environment, to do something meaningful that has a positive impact, and to do something that everybody can do on a daily basis. And if everybody starts on a daily basis to do something a little bit, and 8 million or 9 billion people are doing the same, then I guess we can have a huge impact. That's my background.
Thank you so much, Roland. And what about the work you're doing here and you've done here?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. On USA Global TV and Radio, to be honest, I'm very proud and honored to be part of this family. I call it a family because here at USA Global TV and Radio, it's a channel that is absolutely different from anything else I saw before. That's the reason why I don't have a TV set anymore. But what I love on USA Global TV and Radio, it's all about caring, sharing, and connecting. It's about educating people, but without finger pointing, but just to give them examples, skills, trainings, what people could need for her daily life. And yeah, actually a lot of stuff here. I'm an elevated listener, so I'm very proud of that because listening is the most important part in communication. I am a host and moderator on different shows, like here on the Planet Earth show, which is a very, very important topic, I believe. Afterwards, after the show, actually, the Planet Earth show we do every 2 weeks, and then the other 2 weeks we do a show that is called It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. Something very, very important. Being proud of your health and fitness. And if not so, taking care of coming back and recovering and get in shape and stay fit. So every 2 weeks we do the Planet Earth show, and we do on the other 2 weeks we do the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. It's about health, wellness, well-being. I guess two very, very important topics. And afterwards, every Monday after these shows, I do the Mallorca Connection, where we talk about, I guess, very interesting topics that most of the topics you don't hear on other channels. And we did the men's show, the men's work show, or what else? Yeah, how do you call it?
Talking
the
Heads.
Talking Heads, the Talking Heads, the business show. Yeah, also a lot of stuff.
It's amazing. Amazing. So thank you so much for all your contributions and your mentorship and your friendship. Let's get into the topic about the flow of life. Most of our body, the human body, is comprised of water, as well as most of the earth. But yet we take water for granted. And there are people, as you and I both know, because we've interviewed them, they literally have no water and they have to walk for miles to get water and then sanitize it, which may or may not work. So why do you think it is that we just take water for granted?
Well, in some nations they take it for granted, yeah. But most of the population absolutely not, not because Jacalyn, I was traveling really almost the whole world for business and also for traveling, because I love to learn from other cultures, new things. I love to get in touch with them. I love to learn languages, cooking, whatever. So most of the world, so most of the majority of the population doesn't have access to healthy, or let's even say clean, fresh, meaning healthy water for drinking. Most of the population don't have. In the Western countries, it's a little bit different. I mean, here I'm in Austria, in my home country, we have amazing water, but not in all parts. Not in all parts. In the north, it's perfect. It's one of the best waters you can get to drink from the pipe. But there are other areas where you have high intense agriculture that you can't drink the water. It's toxic. So it's different. But as you said before, I mean, the planet is covered 71% of the world is covered with water. Of course, most is salt water, but at least it's water. So I don't know in square miles, but in Europe, it's 520 million square kilometers is just water. So water is very important. And as you say, Jacalyn, most of our body, but depending on the age, the older we get, the more we try out. Most of our body consists of water. And water is, without water, there is no life in you. And actually, today, because that's why today I'm a little bit confused, because I had an emergency with my 83-year-old auntie. She had an emergency, so I brought her to the hospital and stuff like that, because she was not drinking enough. It's hot here. We have 98 Fahrenheit here, so it's 37 degrees here. It's warm. It's not climate change, it's just warm. It's summer. It's August. It's normal at this time. And she was working in the garden, and I always say, please drink. She didn't drink enough, and then collapsing, and I brought her to the hospital. And the doctor said, more drinking water. So water is very important, but we go deep on that.
Thanks, Roland. Is your auntie okay?
Yeah, she's back. She's back home. And I said, here 2 bottles of water, and you drink them every day, because she's always having a little sip. I said, no, 2 bottles of water, then you know exactly, did you drink enough or not? Otherwise, you have no idea. And actually, especially older people, they don't drink enough. And then then they go to the hospital, and then they get pharmaceuticals. And what the fuck? Sorry. My pharmacist, drink water.
It's interesting.
It's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous. Sorry about that. Yes, I attempted to do this program called 75 Hard, where you have to drink a gallon of water. And I just couldn't do it because I was constantly running I couldn't even work. So I think it's interesting because we have to drink a certain amount of water. But I read recently somewhere that a woman, I think she died from drinking too much water. So it can go the opposite way. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can drink too much water. I mean, too much water in a short period of time. So we all know that we have to drink a lot of water. We need water, especially in summer when we sweat more and stuff like that, or when we do sport. But drinking a lot of water doesn't mean that you drink a lot of water like a huge bottle, like here in a minute or something like that. So that can be too much for your body. So it means just a cup of water every quarter of hour. Every quarter of hour, a cup of water, not more, because your body cannot absorb the water. So it really flushes through, and when it flushes through, because water is also a transportation vehicle. So it takes not only toxic stuff, but it also takes all your minerals, and especially your essential minerals like salt, for example, which is very essential for your life. It flushes out of your body, and then your system is collapsing. Yeah, and you can die of it, of course. So it's not that drinking a lot of water is unhealthy or even dangerous. It is drinking too much water in a short time of period. That's really dangerous. Can happen. But to be honest, most people die because of not drinking enough water. The other way around is it's an exemption, but it can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, most people are dehydrated.
Yeah. Especially, as I said before, older people are really, especially older people and babies. I've been living, in many places in the world, in Indonesia and in Spain for 14 years. And when it's hot, when I see people coming for vacation, especially with small kids, with babies, and the kids 2, 3, 4 years, if they don't drink enough, I saw it very, very often that they're totally hydrated, and some of them really died. Yeah, it's especially small kids because they don't know that they have to drink, and older people. Yeah, it's really risky.
Now, Roland, just a question about water. There are products like tea, for example, that you have in water. Does that constitute drinking water, or it has to be just plain water?
Well, one of my businesses 30 years ago, I was in the water filtration business. I was selling water filtration systems. And so I really dived into it very deeply about water. Because, at the time, 30 years ago, in Europe, in my home country, in Austria, the water market went up like crazy. Bottled water came more and more and more. When I was a kid, there was not much bottled water. Actually, there was no supermarkets, there was small grocery stores. But, the supermarkets come, there are more bottled water, more different waters, sparkling, non-sparkling water, some with flavors, non-flavors, different waters. So I was really diving into this water. And what I found out, I cannot tell for the US market, but for the European market, I know that the best protected food in Europe is water. They're really, really, really very strong regulations. So normally the water is safe. Sometimes it's not tasting well because they put a lot of chloro inside, because especially in summer when it's hot, so there's no bacteria. Sometimes it's not really tasting well, like in South Spain or in France or some parts of Italy. But at the end, it's healthy water. It's not killing you. So as I said before, there's some areas like in Austria too, or in South Bavaria, where there's a high, or in the Netherlands, where there's a lot of agriculture going on, a huge farm, and there's really extensive agriculture with a lot of fertilizers. And toxic stuff, then sometimes you have a risk. You have to buy bottled waters. But to come back to your question, there's a lot of bottled waters in the market. It's a hell of money they make, because they get the water for almost free and sell it. And most of the water, one of the most expensive water in the supermarket from Italy, from France, it's water from the pipe. I call it pipe. The tap. Yeah. It's tap water. You just fill it in water, an amazing marketing, and sell it for a hell of money. And we all know from studies that this water sometimes has problems, because it's going to be transported. It's on trucks. Sun is coming in. When the crystal, the glass, the bottle is not dark. So when it's like this bottle, it's transparent. There's a lot of sunlight, and bacteria can grow and stuff like that. So it's not a good way. For me, the best way is, I strongly believe, when we talk about drinking water, is buying a good water filtration system and using the water you have at home. That's the best way. Because, to be honest, we are a highly developed society, and we go to the supermarket to buy water. This is like living in the jungle or in the desert and walking miles and miles and grabbing water from a fountain and bring it home. Is the same stupid stuff. You have a type at home, and if the water is not good enough, not tasting good enough, just buy a good water filtration system and have your own water. It's much, much cheaper, and you don't have to go to the supermarket. So you can save the planet by not using gasoline to go to the supermarket, and then also the water that is, shipped all over the ocean from somewhere. Doesn't make sense. And as I said before, bottled water, most of the time, is not the healthiest one. They're sometimes full with bacteria. Most of the time, it's just cheap water from the pipe. You can have it from home. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make sense at all.
Thanks, Roland. Good points there. How about this? We've been talking about water in our body, but what about water on the planet and in the atmosphere?
Well, I mean, the point is that in some region they're really challenged. They don't have enough water. That's one point. They don't have enough water. That's one point. So it's not fair on the planet. And I think there are many regions like in the Middle East, in Africa, some points in South Asia, they don't have enough water. Other regions have more water. So it's not really fair what's going on. Yeah, that's one point. I believe in the future that we will have a huge water crisis, meaning maybe we have some wars. And actually, we do have wars. When you look in Lebanon and Palestine, in Israel, some of the wars that are going on, or Jordania, it's because access to the rivers, because some states, they build a dam. How do you call it, a dam? So the water, and the water the river is not continuing to flow, and then the next country doesn't have water. This is a huge issue. Water is important because without water, as I said, you need water for yourself. Agriculture needs water to grow your food, but also the industry. Actually, the industry is really wasting, whatever you want to call it, a hell of water. No water, no life. So there are many countries who don't have enough, and there are many people, especially in the poor region, they don't have access to clean water. So it's really very unhealthy. And to be honest, that's one of the things I don't understand why people are washing their car every week with drinking water, with good drinking water. In other regions of the world, kids or families even don't have access to clean water. That's unfair in the world, absolutely.
Roland, you mentioned before about salt water. There's a lot of salt water, but we can't drink it. Why is that?
Oh, because there's too much. The salt is too much. It's too much. It's not working. So you get dehydrated and you're gonna die. It's too much salt inside. That's not working. What we can do is desalt water. That's what I remember when I was living in Spain on this island. Some years when it was not raining enough in winter, there was not enough water in the mountains. So there was not enough water, especially in summer when all the tourists, I guess we had 15 million tourists every year in July and August on this small island. So they're wasting a hell of money, a hell of water, for showering, for the pool and stuff like that. So we had, desalted. So bring the salt water, the salt out of the water, and we use this water. It's an option, but honestly, yeah, it's nice for showering, but the coffee and the tea taste awful.
And I think there's something to be said about just carrying that thought through about salt, eating too much salt. That's a whole other subject. It's your healthy lifestyle, but too much salt intake is not good, whether it's in water or otherwise.
Too much is not good. And if you don't have it, it's also not good. It's all about it being in balance. Yeah, absolutely.
And Roland, you've seen a lot of the world, and I'd love to know, in your experience in traveling the world, you've seen different cultures of people and different ways of lifestyle. You mentioned earlier that most people do respect water. What about where you've been that they, without saying, where people don't actually respect it?
Well, two different stuff. Especially what I see in the Western culture, because it's normal, you pull off the water, you have a shower, and I know friends that are having a shower for half an hour. But I'm living in a motorhome. I've been living on a boat before too, so you don't have a huge water tank, so always take care about not showering too much. Just getting wet, soap around, spilling off, and I'm done. So I'm not having a shower for half an hour. To be honest, sometimes when I'm in a hotel or on the camping site, sometimes I really enjoy a 10-minute shower, really, but not longer. I'm not wasting too much money. So especially in the Western European country, it's so normal, especially people who don't travel, who never have been on a place where there is no water, not good water, no clean water, or I don't know, when you're in Indonesia, even if in a hotel in Indonesia, you put off the shower and there's not enough pressure, it's not warm, or sometimes in the beginning it's coming out brown and dirty. So if you're not never experienced this, you don't think about it. That's normal, when you just live in, I don't know, in Austria, in Switzerland, or in the US, everything is clean and nice, and you never had another experience. You believe that this is normal, but it's not. We're really very, very, how to call it? We can be very, very happy when you live in an area where you have access to clean water. But this is not in general for the whole world. I said most people don't have access to clean water, and I saw it in many countries, in South America and Africa, in Asia. You try to, or sometimes you don't have water because there are restrictions. The government says only half an hour in the morning. On India, it was many times half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. So you have to know exactly and ask all the residents there, when is water on, so you can have a shower or whatever, or wash your dishes. So there are many restrictions from the government. You don't have access to water. As I said, there's not enough pressure. Sometimes really is a little bit water's coming out to try to wash yourself, especially for ladies when you have long hair full of shampoo. It takes a long time to get rid of the shampoo of your hair. So I saw it many times. Not enough water, so not enough pressure, not hot water, not clean water. It comes out brown. You can drink it. I saw it many times. And when you see this, and then you start thinking about it. I remember when I was a student, I grew up in Austria. And for me, it's normal to have a shower or even a full tube, I don't know, 50, 60 gallons, a huge hot water, and enjoying and having this fun. And then when I start traveling, I will never forget it. One of my first trips, I went to a one-star hotel, or a two-star hotel. I had not much budget when I was in school. And I tried to, nothing is coming. And I looked around and it's coming something brown and dirty. It was cold. So I just said, oh my fuck, what's going on? And then, I went down the reception, reception. The guy said, what did you complaining? This is normal here. I said, that's not normal. I said, where are you coming from? I said, from Austria, from the mountains. I said, hey, that's a different way. So it was a learning process for me too. And then, as I said, when I was traveling other parts of the world, it is like it is. But it's not normal. It's not normal to have clean water for most of the people. So we have to take care about it and don't spend it too much. To be honest, I also clean my car, to be honest, or my motorhome twice a year, not every month, not every week, because we cleaned it here with drinking water. And when I think about my friends in Uganda, Bush Child Foundation, these guys, or my friends in South Asia or in Peru or in Chile, they don't have access to clean water to drink, and we waste it just to clean our car or whatever. This makes me think about it. It's not fair, but that's reality. So to come back to your question, is most people who live in the Western world and never traveled, never had this experience in other parts of the world that there's no access to clean water, they don't think about it. It's just they never experienced it. So for them it's normal to have water. They don't think about it. But on the other hand, when especially when you travel to South Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, but also in India and parts of this, they don't have access to good water, but they also pollute the environment, in the rivers and the lakes, and finally, of course, in the sea. There's a lot of pollution, plastic. There's no but it's lack of education. They don't know it better because they don't have infrastructure. They don't have a garbage collecting system. So like in India, they bring everything on the road, just on the road. And the animals, especially the cows and the pigs and the dogs, they eat some food that they find, and the rest of the stuff they burn. What is not burned goes in the river, and from the river it comes to the sea. That's what's happening. There's no education. They don't have a system. It's not that they don't want to do it. They don't have any opportunity to bring garbage away, but because there's no company or no government institution or whatever collecting this stuff. They don't have it. So it's difficult. It takes time to educate the people and to build infrastructure. There's a lot of money in the world for weapons and other shit, but not for respecting Mother Earth, collecting the garbage, recycle the stuff, and give people access to clean water. There's no money for that. I don't understand it.
Thanks, Roland. You brought up a lot of good points there, and I know we've discussed water pollution on the Mallorca connection. I think we had really good guests. And I know here where I am in the States, not that far away, maybe, I don't know how many miles it is, but there's a landfill. I mean, you can smell it, you can see actually, I'm not in Florida, I'm in New Jersey. Sorry, when I was in Florida, and you can see the vultures, they're flying over it. And at some point, those landfills must get full. I mean, seem to get higher and higher and higher. But I was told that there are places like the United States, I don't know if this is definitive or not, where the trash is actually shipped out on barges to other countries, and some of it gets lost at sea, so to speak. So what is your knowledge about this?
I don't want to get killed, but that's a huge trash mafia. I was connected very much with the mafia when I was working years ago, and it's not about drugs anymore and prostitution. It's about food and trash. It's a huge market. What they do is they have amazing contracts with the government. They collect a hell of money from the government. They said, okay, we take the trash, we recycle it and stuff like that. At the end, what they do is they ship it to some countries. Plastic mostly came to Indonesia, Malaysia. Iron stuff, electronic waste and stuff like that, or rubber from tires came to Africa, Ghana, Senegal, and all this country, where the government just was holding up their hand. They gave some money and they couldn't import the stuff, and they just burned it or whatever. So there's a lot of fraud going on in the world, but it's changing. It's changing slowly, yeah. But a lot of trash from the US, also from Europe, has been shipped to other countries where there is no regulations, and some people are making a hell of money out of it. That's some facts. Yeah.
And so I know trash is a huge business, just like scrap metal is a huge business. And in terms of how polluted oceans are, especially in certain parts of the world, we actually even did a book on it, a children's book highlighting the trash. And has there been any change in terms of how their nets are collected after they're done fishing?
Yeah, there's more and more organizations coming up. I guess we had once an interview with Amaya from the Gravity Wave, they have just limited an ANC more than
Looks like Roland is frozen at the moment, so we will go to a quick commercial break. And if you'd like to be a guest on this or any of our shows, please do reach out. Oh, he's back. Okay, Roland, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, I could hear you, but I couldn't see you. Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, frozen is funny because it's 98 Fahrenheit and 37 degrees here. While it's still frozen technology. Sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Young people or organization trying to save the planet and do some stuff. Yeah, it's going on. It's a good way. I support this absolutely. But on the other hand, there's a lot of stuff going on. But I heard that Indonesia stopped importing trash from Europe, so they ship it back to Europe. So the plastic comes back. I don't know what they're doing in Europe here, but trash is an amazing business, especially in Italy. The mafia, it's 96% of the trash business in Italy is in the hands of the mafia. So it's a huge business. You can make a lot of money. I work together with a recycling company as one of my clients. They do a good job, to be honest. They do a good job, so they're good companies. But they tell me that it's recycled, all these things, it becomes more and more expensive. And so some companies are just, bring this to other countries where regulations are not strong. Some politicians make some pocket money, and that's what's going to happen. But more and more people are standing up, especially in Southeast Asia, and they stop it. It was Indonesia, I guess Malaysia too says, no, we don't take your stuff anymore because we have enough plastic here. We have to fight against the pollution. So there's a change going on. So they're trying to find other places. But I guess what's even worse, when plastic, okay, you can see it, and microplastic is not healthy. Even in our lakes in Austria, they find microplastics in the lake. So it's everywhere, not only in the sea, also in the mountain lakes. It's everywhere right now. But what really is really dangerous, and it's smelling badly, and it's so toxic when you go to Africa. When you go on the western coast of Africa, in Ghana, Senegal, the Ivory Coast, when you see this, with all this, battery stuff and computer, laptops. They bring everything there. They burn everything there. You cannot imagine the smoke that's going on. This, and the toxic stuff. Everything is polluted. Everything is burned down. Everything is dying there. And we're talking about thousands and thousands of square kilometers, square miles. Huge stuff is going on in Africa. And it's really terrible. Everything goes to the rivers. So the fishermen cannot survive because there's no fish for shipping, or it's very toxic. That's really bad. They burn all the tires, the rubber tires from the cars from Europe and from all the countries. They ship them all to Africa. They just burn it down. It's very toxic. So it's really bad. And actually, you have to imagine what challenges we are facing in 3, 4 years, 5 years when all these electric cars are down with their batteries. People cannot imagine what challenging we are facing. This is toxic stuff.
Excellent points. I think for the most part, people just put their trash out and think, yeah, I don't know where it goes. I don't care. Someone's doing something with it. It's interesting here where I am in New Jersey, in the States, there is a ban against plastic bags. And I went into the market to get a sandwich, and they have paper bags if you want a bag when you check out, but yet you can use plastic bags to collect the vegetables. And then a lot of the things in the store are in plastic. So it doesn't make any sense.
Same here in Europe. They said, okay, we want to ban plastic, so you have to pay. Do you have to pay for the plastic bags? So they try to. It's all about making cash. It's not about the environment, because, as you said, everything in the supermarket is packed. Even when you buy organic food, it's packed. So, yeah, I don't know what's going. But to be honest, I don't want to demonize plastic. Plastic has many advantages too, of course. Especially in the medical stuff. I go. I do blood giving every 2 months, and I'm happy that they put in some plastic stuff and not the crystal stuff that can break. So plastic has advantages, but we use it too much without thinking and not reusing it again and not recycling again. And what we see there right now, just putting it away. And actually, most people, as I said, are not educated enough. They have no idea what plastic does. When it falls down to microplastic, you have it everywhere, and you eat it. You drink it, you eat it. It's in your system. It's killing us. It's killing us.
It really is. And here we're bringing awareness and education, and you did a whole series of shows called The Earth Show about how people can actually make a difference. And people can go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and they can look in the archives there for The Earth Show. What are some tips that you can share with our audience about things that they can do today? Obviously, we don't have enough time to go through a whole show, but just a few.
First of all, when we talk about water, please don't buy bottled water if not necessary. Don't buy bottled water. Buy a good water filtration system. If you need any, I'm not selling them anymore, but if you need any advice on that, email me. I can help you on that. I really have a lot of expertise on water filtration systems. When you have to buy bottled water, like I do, sometimes I buy it in a crystal. Yeah, not in plastic, first of all. And I always reuse them because I refill them again and again and again. So buy a crystal water, a bottled water, and then they have refilling station, refill it, or when you're at home, refill it. You can save a lot of plastic, really a lot of plastic. And it's not only the plastic, you can also save a lot of gasoline because the water is not transported from wherever to the supermarket and from the supermarket to your home. So you can on a daily basis, quite easy, you can really have a huge impact on the environment. Actually, we did a show before and we said, okay, when you choose your food wisely, when you buy it locally, you're not imported for it, you can have a huge impact on the environment. Same with just with bottled water. Just that. Don't buy it in plastic, first of all. And secondly, refill it again and again, and possibly buy a water filtration system. And depending how much water you're drinking at home for you, your family, on coffee and tea, for cooking, most of the systems, the good ones, you have a return on investment within a year. I can tell you. That's my experience. So that's my advice. You can do a lot. And if you have to buy bottled water in plastic, because when you're traveling, there's no other chance, yeah, bring it to a recycling station or use it maybe 2, 3, 4 times. And that's you can do a lot of stuff, don't think about before you act, think about it. That's one thing. And it's easy, it's not expensive. Everybody can do it on a daily basis. It's all about do you want to do it or not? It's more about the motivation, and it's more about your mindset than everything else, to be honest. And I really encourage, think about it. It has a huge impact. And please don't tell me or think, yeah, but other people do this and that. If other people jump from the Niagara Falls, would you join? I guess not. So it's just think about it. Think about it.
Yeah. And, Roland, depending on where people are in the world, it's either summer or it's winter. And a lot of times when we go into the next season, we go through our closets and we say, you know what, I don't need this. You go through your motorhomes, I don't need this. And we just put it out on the side for someone to give it to someone. Actually, if you're not going to wear clothes anymore, give it to someone or take it to a consignment shop. Let it get a new life as opposed to sticking it into a trash bag and putting it out at the curb or wherever it is you put your trash. Because one person's trash is another person's cash, I think is the
something like that.
expression.
Yeah, absolutely. And you to be honest, Jacalyn, I always bought new stuff, especially clothes. I never went to a flea market. And then with the girlfriend, she always went to Freeman. I said, well, I do the same right now. To be honest, I do the same right now. I buy used stuff first before I buy I need something new before I go on flea markets, or I go on platforms where somebody, like, I want to buy a camera. I go on a platform, and some people sell it after 2, 3, 4 months. It's always brand new. So I really had a rethinking myself in my head. I don't have to buy it always brand new. It doesn't make sense. And as you said, when I have stuff I don't need anymore, I just resell it or just donate it or whatever. Yeah,
that's the same thing. I'm like you. I was all about new, and now a lot of my clothes are from consignment stores that I got before the pandemic. And so you see me wearing this blue dress once a week. Who cares, right? Once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you can even buy haute couture secondhand for a cheap price. And I was in Vienna, in the 19th district, the most expensive district, where the super rich live in Vienna. And twice a year there's a flea market. And this rich ladies sell their stuff. And there's I don't know, some boots for $5,000. You get them for $200 or $300. And sometimes they have worn it once or even not. Really, this flea market is twice a year. In Vienna, it's the best one. You can buy amazing stuff for just peanuts. Because people they go shopping 5, 6, 7 pairs, and they wear it once or even not. And then they give it away because they have to give it away because they need space for the new stuff. And otherwise their husband say, no, it's not enough. So I made this experience years ago with a business friend. We had a huge meeting in a hotel, and I was second or third woman. I don't know. He was married many times, spending a hell of money on that. But anyway, and she was traveling with him, but not joining us. She was shopping. And then the hotel called me the next day after the meeting because I did events there I've been doing them for almost 20 years there. So they called me and said, Mr. Friedl, one of your guests, they left 2 huge luggages full of dresses. So I called them. So this lady brought luggage, bought it new, and just left this. So her husband had no idea when they drove back that she was shopping again. So what I want to say is you can buy some really, really good quality stuff for peanuts. Yeah, look for it.
Here's what I want to say to that for anybody looking for stuff. I have things right now on Facebook Marketplace that I've got all kinds of designer clothes that are up for pennies on the dollar. So go over to Facebook and look up my name, Jacalyn Kerbeck, and there you go. So, Roland, another great show today. Thank you so much. We've got one coming up after this. Tell our audience a little bit about today's topic of challenges living and working in a motorhome.
Yeah, sorry. As you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, I changed my lifestyle 16 months ago. So I moved from a huge house in Spain to a motorhome. Well, I had a little bit lucky one. I'm honest, it's not a small camper, but it was a tremendous change in my life. I want to try it out and, be this minimalism style, living with less. Because I really found out that I don't own things, the things own me. So not a lot of my money, but also a lot of my energy and time was by organizing something in the house, letting something be repaired or refurnished, stuff like that. I said, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So I moved in my motorhome. Actually, it's April last year, so April, May, June, July, yeah. A little bit more than 16 months. And so I'm working and traveling in my motorhome. I'm traveling through Europe here. And I want to talk about, you find a lot of videos on YouTube, so-called YouTubers, when lifers, who talk about the sunny side of it. But it's more and more coming real stuff out of it, because most of the stuff is shit. Oh, not shit, sorry, is fake. And I want to talk about some challenges. Not to say it's bad. I love my lifestyle, absolutely, and I'm going to prolong it. I love it absolutely, but you have to be clear. If you think about it, maybe alone or with your partner, or even maybe with your kids and family, moving into a motorhome and working remotely and traveling around the US or Europe or wherever, there are some challenges you have to keep in mind. Do you really want to do this or not? That's what we're going to talk about.
Thanks, Roland. And what's the best way for people to reach out, and what are the services you provide?
Well, the best way to reach out to me is email me. My email address is office@roland.friedl.com. This is my name, ROLANDFRIEDL, roland.friedl.com. This is my main website, and the email is office. If you want to learn more about the environment project I do, the website is called, it's one word, respectmotherearth.com. If you want to learn more about this, if you want to learn how to can join this community, support this, or get tips, it's respectmotherearth.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roland. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you shortly on our next program.
Thank you so much. And yeah, everyone, bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. And if you find it useful, please share it with your friends, with your community. I strongly believe that everybody can do a small impact. It's all about a small impact. It's not about changing the world. It's about changing your attitude and your action, and then everything becomes better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
And just a couple of quick announcements in case you haven't heard. I'm really excited, a selfish plug. My newest book is available for pre-order. It's called Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. For those of you who know anything about me, I'm very adamant about learning how to listen at an elevated level. So we actually have courses that we teach where you can join our team as an elevated listener. In this book, you'll find there are 2 quizzes. There are testimonials, and there are case studies about learning how to have solutions for deeper connections, better relationships, and more authentic conversations. And in the first week of the launch, this book actually was all over the place in the Amazon bestsellers. It actually went up to number 1 as well. And we have a foreword by Keith Saltoyanis. He's a writer, National Lampoon, bestselling author, and founder of the school Improv LA. So do go over to Amazon and pre-order your copy. The hardback and paperback copies will be available on September 21st, which is International Day of Listening. As we close out for now, we're going to hear a sponsorship from one of our team members, the lovely Diane Floyd-Bain. So do stay where you are. We'll be right back with our next program.
Hello, I'm children's author Diane Floyd-Bain, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and radio because I love positive messages, and who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.